This is today's cyber news for October 15th, 2025. You can also subscribe to the highly detailed newsletter and view the archive of previous headlines at DailyCyber.news. Researchers showed lots of geostationary satellite traffic isn't properly encrypted, so calls, messages, and telemetry can be captured with cheap radios. Treat satellite links as untrusted, especially in shipping, energy, telecom, and media. Leaders fund over-the-top encryption and key management. Defenders inventory satellite gear, enforce modern transport security, and watch for odd modem logins or public reception reports. Enable end-to-end encryption and confirm modem settings and key rotation within 48 hours. Microsoft's October patch fixed 172 flaws, including 6 zero days, as Windows 10 loses free security updates. This creates both urgent risk and a business choice between extended security updates and moving to Windows 11. Leaders set a 30-day plan for Windows 10 estates and track progress weekly. Defenders deploy zero-day patches within 48 hours and watch for post-patch exploit attempts and patch compliance gaps. If rollout slips, apply mitigations, isolate high-risk users, and verify compliance daily. The UK Cyber Agency says major incidents more than doubled, driven by state groups and criminals targeting critical services and suppliers. Expect more disruption via identity abuse and third-party compromise, not just new exploits. Leaders hold quarterly reviews on identity exposure, vendor risk, and tabletop results. Defenders shift detections toward identity misuse and supplier origin changes. Watch for MFA bypass attempts and new OAuth grants. Tighten identity monitoring and supplier controls now. Pixnapping research shows Android apps can infer on-screen content like one-time passcodes without special permissions. That weakens read and type multi-factor flows, especially for admins, developers, and finance staff. Leaders move high-privilege users to hardware security keys. Defenders lock down mobile app installs and watch for low-permission utilities. Enforce hardware MFA for admins. Otherwise, restrict installs and check devices for unfamiliar tools within 72 hours. A China-linked group hid a web shell inside ArcGIS Server components and stayed hidden for a year by blending into normal workflows. Niche business platforms are attractive because few teams baseline them. Leaders fund integrity monitoring and change control for these systems. Defenders check ArcGIS file integrity and tie admin actions to service accounts. If tampering is suspected, rotate service credentials and review recent exports within 48 hours. Signed UEFI diagnostic shells on some framework laptops can bypass secure boot, letting attackers run unsigned code before the OS. This expands pre-boot risk for admin and developer machines and for device attestation setups. Leaders assign clear ownership for firmware risk and include attestation checks. Defenders enforce current DB/DBX state and block extra UEFI binaries via device management. Apply DBX updates and disable unneeded shells. If not, limit privileged users and verify firmware policy drift within 24 hours. RMPocalypse shows a single 8-byte write can break AMD SEV-SNP isolation, weakening confidential computing promises. Cloud providers are rolling out microcode and platform fixes, but customers must validate. Leaders confirm which regions and instance types are mitigated and plan backups. Defenders inventory SEV-SNP use, patch hosts, and recheck attestation flows. Until patched, keep crown jewel workloads off unmitigated hosts and verify attestation daily. Attackers re-uploaded malicious VS Code extensions to OpenVSX by rotating names and publishers, stealing tokens, SSH keys, and wallets. Developer machines have broad access, so one bad extension can become a supply chain breach. Leaders allow list extensions and assign marketplace vetting. Defenders baseline installed extensions and alert on publisher or hash changes. Lock installs to an approved list. If pending, freeze settings sync and verify inventories this week. Malicious NPM, PyPI, and RubyGems packages exfiltrate secrets via Discord webhooks during install or first run. Typo squats and small name tweaks help them slip in, and webhooks evade classic command and control checks. Leaders treat developer package policy as a real security control with owners and metrics. Defenders use lock files, private mirrors, and reputation checks. Block unknown webhook domains. Pin dependencies and route installs through vetted mirrors. If not ready, block Discord webhooks and review build logs. A fast-growing 100,000-node botnet is brute-forcing RDP across the U.S. using spread-out IPs and credential spraying. Successful hits lead to ransomware staging and quick resale of access. Leaders require MFA and a remote access gateway for any RDP use. Defenders enforce lockouts, geofencing, and strong passwords, or move RDP behind VPN or ZTNA. Close direct RDP and enforce MFA now. Monitor Windows events 4625, 4624, and hunt for lateral RDP for 72 hours. Fortinet reported flaws in FortiPAM and FortiSwitch Manager that can let attackers bypass authentication under certain malformed request patterns. Internet-exposed consoles and shared admin credentials raise the stakes near secrets and network control. Leaders gate or disable external management and set tight patch SLAs. Defenders patch, rotate tokens, and enforce MFA and IP allow lists. If you can't patch immediately, cut external access and verify admin account provenance within 24 hours. Microsoft limited parts of Internet Explorer mode in Edge after real-world exploitation tied to legacy components. The change reduces automatic loading and pushes customers to modernize. Leaders fund upgrades or safe alternatives for must-have legacy apps. Defenders audit IE mode use, trim site lists, and isolate legacy flows. Reduce or remove IE mode. Where needed, narrow the list and monitor affected apps this week. US and UK authorities disrupted a huge pig butchering fraud network, seizing about 15 B in Bitcoin and hitting exchanges, mules, and wallets. The scams mix cyber tricks with real-world coercion and will likely rebound. Leaders invest in transaction monitoring and user education that names these scams. Defenders tune for mule patterns and crypto off-ramp behavior. Tighten new payee and payment controls now and add manual reviews for risky transfers. Researchers found NPM packages abusing the unpkg.com CDN to fetch phishing pages or scripts during install. The trick blends into normal developer setup and can steal credentials for source, cloud roles, or publishing rights. Leaders assign ownership for package policy and default to no direct internet installs. Defenders enforce lock files and private registries and alert on install scripts making external HTTP calls. Block unpk domains on build hosts and review recent install logs for external fetches. On-prem Microsoft Exchange Server 2016 and 2019 are now out of support, ending regular security fixes. These servers have a long history of being targeted, so risk will rise quickly. Leaders set a hard migration deadline with weekly risk reports. Defenders lock down exposure, enforce modern auth, and monitor closely for exploits during the transition. If you must hold, isolate services and verify logging and detections daily. A FortOS flaw lets authenticated users break out of certain CLI restrictions and run arbitrary system commands. That expands insider and partner risk on high-trust network gear. Leaders require proof of patch status across all devices and clarify delegated access. Defenders patch, audit admin roles, rotate credentials, and enable tamper-resistant command logging. If maintenance lags, revoke non-essential roles and review command audit trails within 24 hours. The Astaroth Guildma banking Trojan hides payloads inside images on GitHub using steganography. Lures fetch images, extract hidden modules, and steal credentials and session tokens, with repos rotating to dodge blocks. Leaders align fraud and security teams on stealer risks and session protection. Defenders block suspicious raw Git fetches and inspect scripted image downloads. Enforce script and binary allow lists, otherwise rate limit and check proxy logs for image polls followed by script execution. Proofpoint tracked TA585 using Monster V2 malware with layered delivery and regional lures. The chain moves from email to staging sites to downloader scripts and filters out sandboxes to extend dwell time. Leaders enforce DMARC and create quick user reporting and takedown loops. Defenders block staged downloads and script launches from user-writable paths. Quarantine lookalike lures and verify endpoints block scripts from temp and downloads folders. Multiple campaigns spoofed OpenAI-style login and Sora pages to steal credentials from workers and consumers. The kits use polished domains, valid TLS, and cloud templates, then test stolen passwords across company SSO and developer tools. Leaders centralize access to approved AI tools and publish a safe sign-in guide. Defenders block lookalike domains, require conditional access for odd app logins, and hunt for new OAuth grants. Until centralized, block known lookalikes and verify new grants and MFA changes this week. PolarEdge is a backdoor for routers and small gateways that talks over custom TLS and a private binary protocol. It persists via startup scripts, rotates domains, and uses certificates that blend in, then proxies traffic and steals credentials. Leaders make edge device ownership explicit and fund it like endpoint security. Defenders baseline router TLS egress and require signed firmware with auto updates. Update and lock down edge gear, segment management planes, and review router egress logs for rare destinations over the next 72 hours. That's the Bare Metal Cyber Daily Brief for October 15th, 2025. For more, visit baremetalcyber.com. You can also subscribe to the newsletter and view the archive of previous headlines at DailyCyber.news. We're back tomorrow.